Your net worth will go crazy once you pass this money milestone. What is the money milestone that Charlie Munger was referring to? Charlie Munger was Warren Buffett's partner. And he said, if you can reach this amount, you can coast, basically. Well, let's look at what that amount actually is. What we're going to do is look at it was, the amount he mentioned was $100,000. I want to show you, if you can get to $100,000 as early in your career as you can, these are the kind of numbers you can have after 30 and 40 years. I want you to look at the 40-year column particularly. In that 40-year period, this is assuming 11% return, which the S&P 500 has averaged more than 11% over the last 100 years. So let's just look at the 11% return. Over a 40-year period, you would have put in 100,000, never add another dime, and yet at the end of that 40 years, you'd have $5.855 million. This is the graph. Blue is how much you put in. $100,000. The rest of it is what your money earned over that 40-year period. That's why he says if you can just get it in there and let it coast, that's the kind of money. Maybe you only have 30 years. 30-year numbers are still quite impressive. Over $2 million. 30-year period, you would have put in 4.8%, that 100,000, and the rest of it, the 95.2% of it, is the earnings from that money, $1.962 million. Now let's do one other thing here. Let's look, say you don't have that $100,000. You can save $500 a month. It should be $6,000 a year. Where would you be after 40 years? Remember before it was 5.9 million, 5.8 million. Now, if you put in $6,000 for 40 years, how much would you put in? $240,000 as opposed to the 100,000 if you had that initially, and you would have 3.490 million. After 30 years, you'd have 1.1, basically a half, a little over half of what you would have had if you just start out with that 100,000. That's why it's so crucial to try to get to that $100,000 mark as soon as possible. Obviously, once you get there, you can keep adding to it, but that $100,000, again, let me show you that $100,000 amount, get to that, and you can basically coast, and you have $5.855 million after 40 years, of which 1.7% is the money you put in, and 98.3 is what your money earned. In other words, what Charlie Munger is saying, get to that 100,000 as quick as you can, then you can basically coast. Now you can still put more money in. Let's just say you put in $300. This shows you kind of what we can do on this channel. Say $300 a month. Now you're up over 6 million. But see that $300 a month didn't affect it that much, as opposed to that. Excuse me, that $300 a month would be 3,600. That wasn't right. 3,600. Then you'd have close to $8 million instead of that $5.8 million. So, oh yeah, that makes a difference. But that 100,000, remember 5.8 million of this 7.9 was what, it's that 100,000 that you initially had. But that's what we do on this channel. We run numbers for people. I was going to run it this way. If we just did the $500 a month, this is actual returns for the S&P 500, showing you the 40-year column here. Again, you're putting in 240,000. There it is right there. The worst case scenario in the last 100 years for a 40-year period is right there in the red. As it comes up, 2.377 million. The median in this column is 3.592. That's if we do $500 a month, which is 240. If we go back and do the $100,000, not putting another dime in, this is using the S&P 500. Just looking at it from a different angle here, what would that $100,000 do for you over the 40-year period? There's 100,000 staying, not adding another dime all the way across there. How much would you have after 40 years? 2.975, basically $3 million. The median would be 6.652. That's what just $100,000. Put it in there and never add another dime. That's the kind of numbers you're looking at. Get it in there as early as you can, and then watch these kind of numbers just balloon. Just amazing numbers. That's what we do on this channel, is run numbers for people. If you want me to run your numbers, just give me your beginning balance, your monthly contribution, and if you want to increase that each year, we'll go ahead and run it. And if you can have 35 or 40 years or 45 years, you're just going to see mind-boggling numbers. You're going to see numbers that, wow, I didn't put in that much, but look at the growth of my money. Again, please consider subscribing. Please share this channel with friends. Let them know there's a channel out there that'll run numbers for them. And thanks so much for watching.